I've got it! I've cracked it! I finally cracked it! It's all so clear now! Thanks to this!
Alright, pause there. Let's start a touch earlier. It all started September 21st, 2018. I was enjoying a nice stream watching Peacody Matt chatting on how Sora and Smash seemed fairly likely at the time. Then Matt mentioned Shinji Hashimoto said Sora was in Smash. I didn't think much of it, but not an hour later it was deleted. I quickly sprang to make a video on it, and later that day I made this video, which is pretty much just me freaking out over Sora and Smash, with no nuance to the video. Fun fact, according to YouTube search results, I'm actually the first person to post about it. So, why is it that I freaked out so bad about this, you might be asking? Well, this is Shinji Hashimoto, the co-creator of Kingdom Hearts and head of Business Division 3. He's kind of a big deal for Square Enix. On September 21st, 2018, a fan by the name of Apollyon tweeted at Hashimoto, "Please, Mr. Hashimoto, Sora for Smash." And much to the surprise of literally everyone, he responded with a short yes. Now, that may seem like a simple showing of support from the co-creator, but it actually gets super complicated from here on out. To start things off, the tweet from Apollyon was in Japanese, not English. People seem to forget that Japanese does not translate directly into English. As useful as Google Translate is, it can't convey everything a word means. I actually asked a couple of my friends who do speak Japanese, and the direct meaning is as Google says, but with a tone of, "Is this happening?" Now, this is not direct confirmation necessarily, but Hashimoto's actions make this far more suspicious. For starters, he deleted the tweet extremely soon after he responded. If this was a simple show of support, there'd be a statement declaring that so. But instead, not only has he refused to acknowledge it, but many news articles and posts referring to it have been deleted off the face of the internet. This is very similar to the time that Hashimoto mentioned Final Fantasy VII will be remade, only to delete any reference of it from the internet. Overall, I spent a lot of time looking into this one-word tweet. Too much time, most would say. Less than a year later, Hashimoto would once more open up about the possibility of Sora in Smash, this time painting it in a much less likely light. You see, he was at a French college and was asked at random if Sora was going to be in Smash, to which he replied that there were no plans made at that time. There's a couple of things to note about this. For one, we don't have the exact wording, as this was a non-documented class interview, and thus we only have one account who likely got the statement via a translator who got it through Hashimoto. A classic game of telephone, as it were. And once this statement became widespread, Erica Harlacher, the voice actress for Anne in Persona 5 as well as Smash, mentioned that if Sora were in Smash, that this would be the type of statement that they'd be forced to make while under an NDA. So overall, this moment should be noted that it did happen, but not much can be gleaned from. But now we've really hit a wall in regards to Sora in Smash. Past 1 is done, and with that, most people simply wrote off this whole Hashimoto stuff. And with Past 2 almost being finished and one of the characters being a Nomura design character, everyone has pretty much given up hope for Sora. It's funny, because both Sora and the other Square Enix characters we've gotten so far at DLC were on that rumor from a while back. Pretty funny. Wait, what if that wasn't just a rumor? What if this list was actually real? I mean, it is kind of odd that 5 out of 7 of these characters did get in. But there's no real proof of it, so we can't really... Oh. That's actually really big. But if that's the case, then...
Oh! I've got it! I've cracked it! I finally cracked it! It's all so clear now! Thanks to this!
Okay, back to the ramblings of a madman. So for those of you who don't know, this is Imran Khan. He's the former chief editor of Game Informer and is a verified reporter with connections to literally every gaming company under the sun. He's actually proven himself knowledgeable on Smash characters before the release, such as when he refused to comment on Banjo-Kazooie getting into Smash. So with that background out of the way, Imran Khan here is mentioning Sephiroth had been planned far before Ultimate released, meaning at least the third-party characters in Pass 2 likely were planned around that time. But not only does that bring back a bunch of rumors from back then, it confirms the 7 Squares list. For those of you who don't know, the 7 Squares list was a list floating around online during the summer of 2018, which listed a possible group of Smash Ultimate characters from the company Square Enix. The list included Sephiroth, check, Erdrick, technically check, the Luminary, check, Slime, also check, Geno, check, Chrono, and Sora. This is where things get tricky, because contrary to the title, sorry for the clickbait by the way, this doesn't mean Sora is confirmed. Now, the list specifically mentions that Sora was only briefly mentioned, so you might assume that this means they said no and dropped him. But this gets a touch complicated. You see, in 2018, Disney hosted a Kingdom Hearts 3 premiere event and invited many Kingdom Hearts content creators, plus the Smash 4 Evo chant for some reason. At this event, creators got a chance to ask the team of Kingdom Hearts anything, and the YouTuber HMK took this chance to ask a couple of key questions. One of which being what it would take to get Sora in Smash. The answer he got was rather interesting, actually. The Disney Japan Vice President Justin Scarpone responded that Disney would be the sole company Nintendo would legally have to approach, but Disney usually asks Square Enix out of politeness. Usually not always. But this means that when Nintendo went to ask Square Enix about Sora, it wasn't them getting denied rapidly, it was Square Enix giving their blessing. This would explain Hashimoto's yes tweet, as clearly Square Enix gave their blessing, hence his enthusiasm on the matter. The only thing we don't know now is if Nintendo got the yay or nay from Disney. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on the matter. Sora at this moment is technically the most likely character at this point, given we know for a fact now that he was actually discussed as a character. That Imran Khan reporter also said he thinks that Sora is happening, but that one was just his prediction and not actual info. We'll just have to wait and see.